Have you ever wondered how to make felted balls? Well, wonder no more. In today's video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about making felted balls and share with you some of my tips and tricks. Hey everyone, I'm your fiber artist host Jody and welcome to my channel. Here I share needle felting videos from tool tests and reviews to felting tutorials like this one and have giveaways from time to time. So if you're new, please consider subscribing. And if you want to know more about anything you see here, be sure and check the links in the description below this video or leave me a comment. Now, let's get into today's video. So before I get started, real quick, there's a couple ways that you can make felted soaps. The wet felting that we're gonna be doing today using this soap and this sushi pad, or needle felting, or there's even this little egg method that I wanna give a try with you guys today. And I haven't tried this yet, so I'm excited to see how it works. Now I wanna address the use of your felted balls. Maybe you're looking to use them for making a felted garland, or maybe a baby mobile, or make felted flower palms to put in a space to look beautiful or drop essential oils on, or wool dryer balls. This method that I'm teaching you today is going to allow you to use your wool felted balls for any of these things. And if you're looking for the dryer balls, I made those a little bit differently than these, and I'll link the video to those in the iCard above for you guys. Next up is the things you guys are going to need to make your felted wool balls. Obviously a sink with some running cold and warm water. Also a bowl, your towel, your choice of wools in their desired colors. Got a few sparklies, my batting and roving, the soap of my choice, and my bamboo mat. Again, you guys, I'll have all this linked in the description below if you're wanting to know more. Now, right off the bat, I want to share with you a few of my tips and tricks. The first one is get extra towels if you can, because if you're like me and you have kids, they're gonna interrupt you and you're gonna be getting water everywhere and needing to dry your hands way more often, and one towel is not gonna do it. Next is get some soap that is soft to your hands. You're gonna be lathering with it for a while, so you don't want your hands drying up if you're gonna be making 15 or so felted balls, and in an hour to 2 hours, your hands are gonna hate you, so get some good soap. Then I wanted to point out that I think wool roving works way better than wool batting when it comes to wet felting, but that is just my personal opinion. And also remember that warm water will help you shrink the wool. And lastly, wear an apron if you want to protect your clothing. If you have needle felting needles, grab those and I'll show you a tip on how they can help you. I also wanted to say that these are not necessary, but they can be helpful. All right, here we go. I'll show you my setup real quick. Pretty obvious to see everything. I even grabbed a pair of scissors. I'll show you what you can use those for as well too. I also like to keep a towel on this side of the sink, so then I can have just towels easy to access. Some warm in the bowl. So depending on how big you want your ball to be, you might want to just make it solid, or you might want to use some of this bone color to use as a filler, so you don't have to use as much of your colored wool, because this is normally way more expensive than this. So we're gonna start with an amount of this. And a way you can kind of tell how big your ball is going to be is just really squeeze it down into your hands. And if you need to measure it, you can. I like to make my balls a little more varied in size. I think that's funner, more visually to me pleasing. So I'm gonna be making a varied set of sizes today. And I obviously don't have any color preferences for them other than the colors that I picked out. Take my rings off here. So I like to take this little ball of wool, plunge it into my warm water first, and then just take my bar of soap, kind of rub it around on the bar of soap, or use my hands, get a little soap, and just start really lightly rolling it in my hands as if I had a marble or a ball, and just kind of gently letting it fall and shaping and helping curve it into a ball. And then the more pressure you use on it, you can see that it'll kind of start to squish it around, and it's not super firm. So our goal is to make this really round and firm. And we're just gonna keep doing this process until we get there. And then that's what's kind of cool is once you start to get this firm, we'll start using the sushi mat. I'm gonna now use some cold water and rinse the soap out of it. A good squeeze so it's not drippy wet. You can see it's not a perfect circle, but it's starting to shape into one. This is the point I'm gonna grab my color. Get a little bit of this roving here. And then just wrap it around. And this is kind of important to do this as carefully as possible because you don't want to create ridges or gaps anywhere around this, like that. Plunging this in the water as well, and then rubbing it on the soap. And you'll see right away, it looks like it wants to start felting. All right, so this is the perfect opportunity. I want to show you how these can help. My wool is not wanting to stay over here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little bit of felting to it, like so. This will even save you some time in the felting process. And if it starts to look kind of like this, take a small little batch of fiber and cover it to smooth it out. All right, I'm gonna put that back in some more warm water, a little more soap here, and just keep this process up. All right, you can see that it's actually starting to come along, and I'm going to start using the bamboo mat. Here, I just take and roll it along. Need a little more water. I've kind of lost some lather here. Create a little more lather. Lather is your friend. The friction that it creates rolling it along here is what helps mat your wool. You will know if you're using the sushi mat too soon. You will lose your ability to roll it around like a ball. Another thing you can kind of do is squeeze some water out. I'm gonna rinse it here. This is my favorite part. Now I'm just going to really give it a good squeeze, cup it a little bit more in my hands, tighter. The harder you do this right here, the smaller the ball will get. You can see that's looking pretty perfect. So I'm gonna get all of the soap squeezed out of it. I'm gonna kind of do a little ringing action. Really make it nice and round like a marble. Look at that, coming along perfectly. Now depending on how long you felt it and how OCD you are, you can use your scissors to go and trim these fibers off, or you can keep felting and eventually they'll start to even be more matted. Just like that. And what's really nice about these scissors that I use is they're curved and they'll just go right around with the angle of the ball. You can even give it a rinse then and do it a little bit more. I'm gonna set this one aside for now though, and let's do one with the wool batting and this egg. I'm really curious to see if this method works or if it's even any faster because I made a lot of these. So, the other thing I wanted to point out, cold water also does not affect dry wool as much as warm water does. That's why I dip it in the warm water first. I'm gonna use a little bit of this batting here. And then essentially, I don't know if I should make this super round or not, but I'm just kind of gonna go for it and wing it here. Get a little wetter, kind of wrapped it. Maybe I'll give it a little of this before I just toss it in there. All right. Maybe I made it too big. Soap off. Try my hands. And then you just are supposed to shake it. In my eyes, I would think that this would give you an egg shape and not a ball shape. But the video that I watched, it made a ball. Curious. I've only been shaking it for about a minute, but I want to see what it looks like. Not working very fast. I think my arm would get tired shaking this much longer than what I just did. I'm giving up with that method. All right, you guys. So I'm just gonna go here and continue to do the same thing I just did to this ball, to this ball. This one was roving, this one was batting, and I'll show you the difference here as soon as I get done with this one. All right, so there they both are. Not a ton of difference between the batting and the roving, other than as when you get to here. I know I showed you how to cover it on here, but batting is way more apt to create these crevices between the wool than roving is. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and make the rest of the balls in the colors that I have over here. Another thing I wanted to show you is if you're having trouble in the beginning phases with your wool staying together, kind of like this, you can even use the needle to stab that and felt it together and make that easier for you. And if you experience any thin spots like this, just add more wool right here. And you can even use the needle to help keep that wool in place if you need to. The key really is finding a balance between the pressure that you're applying and keeping it smooth and round and soft feeling in your hands. And there you have it. There is my little collection of felted balls. You can see they're kind of wet, so I'm just gonna put them on a fresh dry towel and maybe set them on top of the vent. Make sure that they dry really well. There we go. All right, that's it. I promise you, if you follow all of these directions, you'll have felted wool balls too. Don't forget to leave me a comment with what you think I should make next, and I might just make it. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.